Hello, welcome back to Exanima Beta version 5 this time, 5.0.0, and an exciting time for the game, coming available on Steam Greenlight. A lot of new players and a lot of new people looking at the game and wondering what it's about. So hopefully celebrating with a nice quality video, rendered nicely and all done nicely, hopefully, for my latest one. And I'm going from the start and just showing off how I do this start a little bit differently. I do a little bit more exploration than I normally would in this early stage, especially, and that's just to kind of show it off. And I go for a bit of a different tactic, as I want all the enemies wandering around, and I'm just gonna take on situations as they present themselves. But yeah, one of the differences is I'm going straight through the door straight ahead, rather than taking the right hand side door like I used to. And I go and grab the machete, and I find the machete actually is quite a bit more effective than the hand axe, and now that I've practiced with it and I'm used to it, and I quite like using it, and so yeah, that's why I'm using the machete and not the hand axe. I'm just showing off where you can get the key for this locked door up here as well. It's a nice shot at a bit of early armor, a bit of an early upgrade, a bit of a boost to your survivability early on. And as you can see, I haven't actually fought anything yet, so there's two enemies to really watch out for in these early stages, and one of them has a big axe, one of them has a saw blade, and the others, most of them they're pretty tame really, and you can take your time and you can practice on them and take them out. I go sort of with the philosophy that I'm just trying to preserve my life total, and if I can avoid combat then I will. But when it presents itself, I like to take it on as well, and I don't avoid combats forever. It's really mainly just for these early stages. And yeah, so that enemy got in the way, and so it felt like a fight was either inevitable or we may as well take it on in that situation, just to clear ourselves a bit of a way through. And now I'm going to go back and sort of look through the rooms where we open the doors. As you can see, the enemy is flushed out of this one. But we are met with a new one who has wandered in, so... And now I'm just going to backtrack a little. There's some places worth exploring in this area we haven't been in yet. And with the new random loot system, all the chests, it's worth having a bit of an explore, especially when it's so simple to get to certain chests. So we've had a couple of fights now, but really our life total hasn't been under any threat, so that's nice for the early part of the game. and the crucial piece of the puzzle. Sometimes I get that earlier as well. It is really nice to have a compass, and I rely on it a lot now for navigating around the second and third floors. So I wouldn't skip over any of this. I'd go and pick up my compass as a bit of a priority. And in this room here, they would just show the two-handed axe that you can get, and there's also another chest. There's usually an enemy in this area, but as I opened the door earlier, then it sort of flushed them out, and that enemy just went off on its own little walk. We might spot him on our way back through. Anyway, with all our business done, I quickly go and pay homage to my old weapon and scout this room for any signs of any new chests or anything new. I couldn't spot anything in here. It's to be honest, it's probably fairly skippable, this room. So this is an area that I used to skip, actually, and I've learnt to include it in my run, my attempts at the getting to the end of the game. And the strategy so far has been working for me of opening up doors and letting things wander around, so I keep that up. And for me, I find the Holy Grail here. I was encouraged to explore this area in more detail, and eventually, yeah, came across this in this barrel. I mean, it was heavily sort of hinted at where what area I needed to look round, and many thanks to the people who did that in that way for me. But the sword is a really nice weapon to get this early. As you can see, I haven't really had to fight very many things, so it's nice to have it in a position where your life total hasn't really been in too much of a risk. And there is another bit of gear in that area if you're missing the tunic that I've got, because got the tunic from the random loot, so I sort of skip it. But if you explore that area a bit more, and under one of the wash baskets, you can find a nice leather tunic for yourself. And usually I like to start testing out the weapon at this point. I'm feeling more confident with the way I'm armored, with the weapon that I've got, and so I go for a bit more of an aggressive style. And this is sort of where the doors open strategy backfires. I mean, I handle it fairly well, to be honest, but I'm fighting these enemies in the wrong place. Ideally, I would have had this fight back in the larger room, which has got more empty space and more lighting. I just got caught up amongst all this environmental stuff, and yeah, get a little bit overwhelmed in the corner there. So unfortunately the pristine health comes to an end, but we're not too worried about that. It's just a little bit of red damage, and we're making tracks nicely through the game at this point, so not going to let it get us down. And nothing like a bit of loot to cheer us up as well. There is a chest in the room that I skip over here as well. I don't know why I don't check it in this playthrough, but if you give this room, this hall, this with all its little doors, but yeah, that extra room just that I bypass, it has a chest in as well, so. I've got good lighting in this area, but I wanted to take the fight on with just the torch in place of the shield, and that is just as a little bit of training for what's about to come. It's a technique that's good to know. It's useful as well if you get caught out and surprised by enemies, if you know that you can immediately jump into combat mode and at least stand a chance of winning fights. But with my health in relatively good condition and feeling confident with my new sword, I go and take on this fight straight away. There's other times when I'm playing and I need the health potion more quickly, and I'll run straight to the health potion. It just really depends on the playthrough and how it's going for me. It's a nice feeling to have the health potion under your belt and knowing that you can use it. It's sort of like an insurance against your character's life. And it can get to points in the game as well where you really do need it, so it's a very nice item to have. Grab some more lore. And hopefully all the fights are going to go like that. You know, now I've got the sword, I want the fights to be done and dusted really quickly. I want to get some nice strikes aimed at my enemies and have combats sorted. It's another little room that I think is worth going in now. As much as I hate fighting these two, they now guard a potential roll on the loot, so never want to bypass loot. I mean to say that, but I bypass a lot of loot actually. But part of it in this playthrough is I'm trying to get to just a direct run through the game. I'm not trying to be super obsessed with getting every chest open and every container explored. I'm just trying to sort of show how you can get through the game, and so because of that I bypass some things, and some things I just go to by habit and go there automatically. So get our dusty logbook. And that cell with the piece of lore and the piece of armor, the vest that I'm wearing, is a good sign of which way you go, and following these this sort of door which connects through from that area is going to lead you to the end point of level 1. And when you get to this little junction here, you're looking for the room of cells, where there's probably enemies wandering around, and that's exactly what we have. So again, I'm looking for nice swift fights. And this is sort of the home street. We're on our way to the sort of hardest enemies in the first level. As I say, I probably have skipped over quite a bit of stuff. However, I like to go and get some bits of lore that I know about in this area. So what I do is I clear it all out first. I leave the door open to where there is an enemy with an axe who wanders. And I go and pick up the lore, and I go and get the bits that I want. And then I go through to level 2. And so this is really sort of nearing the end of the video, and if you just want sort of directions to the end of level 1 to level 2, then from start to finish that is what you've got here. You just keep going that way. As I mentioned though, seeing that the two sort of end enemies aren't in that little connecting corridor, I go to wherever they are and I'm going to go and take them on. This guy's weapon as well, you shouldn't take it lightly. This is a serious fight that you have to focus on, because the weapon can do serious damage to you, as I will demonstrate. And it is a bit of a tricky fight. It's a little bit awkward, so yeah, be careful with it. And so there's the gate to the end of level 1, the gate to level 2, and signifying that we can move on and go to the next floor. However, as I say, I'm going to just quickly pop back and get that lore that I missed. But if you want to get through that door, you just double click and you'll go on to the next level. And hopefully, if that's what you wanted to see, sort of the route to start to progression, then I've demonstrated that. And the next video shouldn't be too far away either. I should upload that within the next few days, I'm hoping, and level 1, 2 and 3 will all have their own videos, and they'll be sort of similar style to this. I'm not being super obsessed with collecting and opening every chest for the sake of speed, but as I say, there's just certain things and certain habits that I'm already into and just happen to do in this playthrough of the game, that, as you can see, I like to grab these books. There's some really cool books and some interesting lore out there, and it's nice to know that I've got them in my inventory. But I hope it's been a fun video to watch, and I hope it might have helped a few people out with the early stages and with the start of the game, and I'll see you in the next one.